Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California weather-wise. Today is February 13th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the state of California, Hawaiian Islands here, wide-angle view here, the Northeast Pacific. Check out the jet stream now, just starting to move north of the Hawaiian Islands as we speak. If we look back across the Western Pacific, you can see the same thing here with the Hawaiian Islands way to the right here of the globe. Now, taking a look here at the GFS, that is that jet stream we just looked at on the infrared satellite imagery, and you can see it extend north of the Hawaiian Islands, start to point at the state of California here. We got a few systems to go, 1, 2, 3 punch coming in here, and this one is of particular note as we go on into the early portion of next week. How long will this hang out here? What kind of tropical tap will it have? What kind of precipitation amounts is it going to bring back into this state? How low are the snow levels going to be? All good questions. We're going to look at some of that here as we go through the video this morning. Take a look at the North American model, high resolution, about 2,500 feet. You can see we got some northwest winds down the coast, nothing too crazy in the meantime. But as we go through the day, Wednesday, you'll see that system approach to the northwest California coastline and start to come down across the Bay Area. Some gusty winds, maybe 30, 40 miles per hour across some of the headland areas. Some of the valleys getting a little bit gusty here. Also, nothing like we just went through. And you'll see that frontal system is losing its punch as it moves down towards Point Conception here. But this will bring a decent round of snowfall to the Sierra Nevada, mainly higher snow levels. We'll look at that here in a moment. If we take a look at the rain and wind Wednesday, all day Wednesday morning for the wind, and you can see the bigger amounts across northwest California. But look at Shelter Cove, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches, some gusty winds out there. And they do talk about the 30 or 40 mile per hour gusts on the coastal headlands and high ridges. Taking a look at the European model, this is hot off the press of the 12Z run. Closer look, you can see the system rolling as we go through the morning Wednesday and the daytime, coming down the Cascade Range, bringing some snowfall for the higher terrain of the Sierra Nevada. Again, that frontal system loses its punch by the time it gets down towards Point Conception, and then we've got the next round rolling in. And you can see it also bringing another round of snowfall here as we go through Saturday on in through Sunday, continuing across some of the higher terrain. This could bring a little bit of rainfall down towards Southern California, but that is not the big rainfall maker. The big rainfall maker lies out towards the early portion of next week, as you can see more of that southerly track here in more subtropical tap with that next storm system, potentially bringing some heavy rainfall down into portions of Southern California with that one. That's on into early next week. Now, taking a look at total snow ratio in inches on the European. So we're going to go over at least the initial system here. And you can see it does bring some precip down towards the central Sierra Nevada, maybe a little bit down towards the southern Sierra Nevada with the first round. And then as we go through Saturday, we bring another round of precip, a little bit better totals here for the southern Sierra Nevada. And then as we go to early next week, again, the snow levels are going to be relatively high here, generally 6,500 feet plus across the southern Sierra Nevada, and generally 5,500, maybe up towards 6,000 feet at times across the northern and central Sierra Nevada. Now, if we look at the Avalanche Center here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Let's scroll in here, and you can see we do have some moderate. So check this out if you're going off in the backcountry. This has all kinds of good information. They even share images of recent avalanche activity. And looking at Donner Summit, you can see over the next few days, we bounce around between 5,000 and 6,000 feet. So yeah, heads up for that. Some of the higher passes are going to be impacted by this snowfall. If we take a look here in through Thursday morning, this is Hanford National Weather Service. You can see some of that snow getting down towards Lodgepole. Not expecting precipitation for places like Bakersfield or Tehachapi as we go through Thursday morning. However, as we go through this weekend and into early next week, they are talking about 1 to 2 feet for the Sierra Nevada above 6,500 feet. And this is the southern Sierra Nevada. So nice graphic there from the Hanford National Weather Service. Looking at rainfall possibilities here as we go Saturday through Thursday. And this is mainly going to be after the Sunday time frame for Southern California. This is Los Angeles National Weather Service showing this. High rainfall amounts. There's a good chance of it. And coast and valleys, 2 to 5 inches. That's no joke. I mean, it's not as much as what we just went through, but with what we just went through, it might cause some flooding concerns. And the mountains and foothills could be looking at some bigger amounts, up over 5 towards 8 inches as well. And if you want a nice, affordable home weather station, click on that link down below to save 10% off. You can watch that thermometer and temperature wherever you go. 3-second updates, ultrasonic anemometer. It's got a haptic rain gauge, all solar powered and wireless. And again, those updates are really quick on your smartphone, zoomable graphs. You can share your page as well with your friends. Now, looking at day 2, they do have this for the northwest portion of California. This is day 4. They kind of have these as well. So they are paying attention, and day 5 slides down the coast a little bit more. But these are going to be uptrended here over the next few days, and we will continue to watch that as we go. Looking at the Canadian model on the left versus the GFS. Let's see what kind of model agreement we have coming up here as we go on into tomorrow. As you can see, the models are coming into better agreement with that one here. Some decent precipitation rates across Northern California and some of the northern Sierra Nevada here. And then you can see that move down the mountain range, and it really loses its punch by the time it gets towards Point Conception. So nothing expected for Southern California on in through Friday. And we're now scrolling on into Saturday, and the next frontal system starts rolling in Saturday morning. This could bring another bout of some moderate rainfall, heavy at times for some select locations, but the GFS hangs us off a bit longer, as you can see. So we start getting some model disagreement here on that next frontal system, and then you can see our much more sinister low pressure here start to approach the coastline. It's on both models there, but you can see the Canadian starts to bring some heavier rain down towards Southern California there also, and some heavier amounts for the Sierra Nevada. So we'll work out those details here over the next day or so. But as we scroll off in towards the end of the weekend, you can see the GFS really packing a punch here. I mean, look at this 986 millibar low, 984. That's a very strong low pressure center for being just south of Sacramento and San Francisco. And the Canadian has a similarly low system there as well. And you can see a pretty good subtropical tap with this. How far is that going to get towards Southern California? Still, obviously, some questions to be answered here as we go through the next couple of days, because you see the GFS really plastering Southern California with some heavy precip, the Canadian holding it back for the Central Coast and the Bay Area and some Sacramento and then northern Sierra Nevada, as it makes its slow progression towards Southern California that eventually starts to bring some heavier rain. But by the time we go towards Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, it could be heavy at times. I mean, look at it. It's kind of bullseyeing Southern California there. But you saw the model disagreement here, so we still have a few things to work out. And then as you go off into the future here, who knows what's going to happen. We're looking too far off at this point. Looking at the European, let's update that because we're getting new information as we go. This model is running as we speak. This is hot off the presses, the 12Z run. Put it into motion. You'll see that precip start as we go on into tomorrow morning for Northern California. Swings a frontal system through the Bay Area. Might get some moderate rain out of that at times. Central Coast kind of targeted there as well. And it really loses its punch. So not much expected for Southern California with that first initial storm system here. And then we wait for this next frontal system. What does the latest European have here? It brings it in really late Friday night for Northern California. A little bit more progressive than the GFS, it looks like. You can see that frontal system moving across the Bay Area into the Central Coast. Some snowfall for the higher terrain, and this brings a little bit of precip towards Southern California. It doesn't look like a lot makes it to the Los Angeles metro on the early portions of Sunday. However, as we start to scroll off into later Sunday night, pretty dynamic low pressure center right off the coastline here, and that would bring some heavy rainfall, and those excessive rainfall outlooks will definitely get an upgrade if this continues to trend. And then we start to bring some heavy precipitation down towards Southern California at times, kind of off and on as this low decays, weakens, but it continues to spread precipitation around it. So definitely something to watch here over the next few days as we go on into next week. Lots of possibilities there. The national blend of models here, this is 15Z run versus 06Z run, and we're just going to kind of see what the total precipitation in inches is. This is Wednesday through Thursday system here, and you can see not much change there. Some rainfall for the Central Coast, and you can see it not making much headway down towards Southern California with that initial one. Then we get the next frontal system here that could bring some light amounts down to Southern California, mainly Santa Barbara County, San Luis Obispo, and again, another round of some nice rainfall for Northern California and maybe the Bay Area also. Then we go on into next week, and you can see it start to bring some of the heavier amounts all the way down into Southern California, especially the transverse ranges here. And some of these models are showing the Los Angeles metro getting a nice douse of precipitation through the early portions and mid portions of next week here. So still a lot of rainfall potentially incoming here. You kind of see how it leaves some of western Arizona and extreme southeast California high and dry at least, but we'll continue to watch this over the next few days. You see some big amounts showing up there. This is total snow in inches on the national blend of models. And again, as you saw, snow levels 5,000, 5,500 feet plus across northern portions of the state, and a bit higher as you go further south, 6,500 plus. But let's play this through. Here we go on and through Wednesday and Thursday morning. And then we bring that next system in here on the day Saturday and through some of the weekend. And then we go off into the next early and mid portion of next week, let's call it. And you can see not bad snowfall amounts across mainly the higher terrain, but you're not looking at snow levels down towards 3,000 and 4,000 feet with any of these events right now. Now, taking a look at 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, clearly we're bullseye here as we go through February 22nd. You saw why we got a 1, 2, 3 system punch incoming, and the risk heavy snow experimental product looks a little bit further out now and still showing some potential for some, moderate snowfall across the Sierra Nevada. We'll worry about that as we go, and you can kind of see the risk for some high winds still exists here as we go, and they're mainly going to be associated with those frontal systems as they move through. And we'll watch this as we go through the next couple of weeks as well. Percent of average precipitation since February 1st. You can see we've been doing extremely well across much of the state of California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and up through Idaho and Montana. This is the water year, though. This will be fun to watch as well. How much of this can we make up? You see some portions of the Sierra Nevada are below 50%. Some of the Mojave Desert below 50% as well. But some of Death Valley, look at that sharp cutoff there. So some areas are doing quite nice. Other areas, not so much. Let's see how we can bounce this back over the next couple of weeks. But anyway, yeah, so interesting stuff to watch. You still see we have some model disagreement on the exact timing of the systems incoming here. And still, it's quite up in the air just what kind of precipitation amounts. We could be, just dealing with some more typical rainfall amounts during the winter here for Southern California, or we could be looking at a pretty, heavy rainfall event here. You saw some of those totals. Once you start talking about 5+ inches in the higher terrain, that could cause some flooding concerns, especially with all the recent mud flow and landslide activity that's been going on out there. And the soils are still going to be saturated, no doubt, although we have had a chance to dry out at least a little bit, so that's a good thing. But anyway, if you want to also, check out this store below. So I've got a store attached to the channel. And if you have any design ideas that you want to see on any t-shirts, I introduced a La Nina and an El Nino one yesterday. There's an atmospheric river one here. Click on that store down below if you want to order something. But anyway, otherwise, yeah, leave some comments below. Let me know what you guys are seeing. Let me know what you guys think. And we'll do this again tomorrow. And I will talk to you guys then.